Hello everyone, this is going on all social media platforms, and so I said everyone. So listen, I own an Aniioki A8 60 volt 80 amp hour setup e-bike. Dual motor. Now I am 6'3", 260 pounds. I'm a big guy. Most of these e-bikes are made for small riders. Now, I did a trip the other day with both motors active, flat ground, all paved, at 25 miles an hour, with resistance on pedal assist. Okay, at 25 miles an hour. And I did it pedaling with resistance. Now, I got between 36 and 40 miles per battery bar with resistance. Now, when I normally ride, I pedal, but it's mostly ghost pedaling at 25 miles an hour because I'm doing a slow cadence. So, kind of as ghost pedaling, I get between 25 and 28 miles per battery bar with ghost pedaling. The reason why this is important is because people ask, well, how do you get the mileage you do? There's a few other tricks that I do. Like, for example, once I get up to speed, the bike's weight is 168 pounds. Plus my weight, the bike will literally roll just off pure momentum. And it will do that for a good 300 to 400 feet. And then I just pedal just enough to maintain the 25 mile an hour speed. That's it, which is usually 3 or 4 rotations, and then I repeat the process as needed. Now, that being said, my longest trip on my bike so far, which I did no throttle, only pedaling, was at 25 miles an hour, and I did 118 miles. Now, this ride was 99% ghost pedaling, and I did 118 miles, and when I got home, I still had 3 battery bars out of 5 left. Those are my numbers for my longest ride. That was about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I did another ride yesterday. I did 63 miles. But I pedaled faster than I normally do to get resistance on the pedals, which is how I found out the difference in miles per battery bar. So with just minimum resistance, I went from 26 miles per battery bar to almost 40. That is a big jump. So this spring, upcoming spring, I do plan to put a bigger crank. I'm going to upgrade from 52 tooth to either 69 or 72 tooth. And that's that. And I've already put new tires on the bike. And the tires, sweet. I bought the Shinko 567s, 120 by 80 for 16-inch rim. Now, what I've noticed is regular e-bike tires are flat on the sidewall. These have a really pronounced indent. As a result, I was able to go with a much wider tire than the rim because of the indentation, which has allowed me to put more rubber on the road and give me better traction. As a result, I've actually not lost any mileage. Now, however, there are some downsides. The tires that I took off the bike weighed between 8 and 9 ounces. The new tires weigh about 8 pounds a piece. So you do lose a little bit of mileage at the top end. Now, people's like, well, that's a downside. Yes, but on the other hand, most people that upgrade their bikes only have, 40, 50 amp hour battery. I'm rocking a 60 volt, 80 amp hour battery. Losing 5 miles off my top mileage, it's not really that big a deal for me. Now, the reason I'm putting this video out there is a lot of misinformation about the Aniioki e-bikes. Their customer service is atrocious, okay? It is, it sucks. Which is why I tell everybody, if you're gonna buy an Aniioki, buy it from Amazon, okay? Amazon bikes do have a speed limiter on the bikes, that I know of. See, I bought mine from the Aniioki website, not Amazon. As a result, they wanted to be difficult when my bike broke down and now sent me a new one. I got the new one, not an issue. The point is, if you want to learn from my mistakes, don't order directly from Aniioki. Because once you add up the protection plan from Amazon and the shipping, it comes out to the exact same price. Okay? The reason Aniioki, the company, doesn't like you ordering from Amazon is for 2 reasons. One is the protection plan. By going through Amazon and getting their protection plan, it holds Aniioki, the bike company, to a higher legal standard. Because if they do not meet the Amazon's qualifications, they're liable for a lawsuit. So the bikes you actually buy off Amazon are actually built better. Mainly also because they're built in Canada, not China. That's the other thing. Okay? Now on to another topic. I do between 25 and 30, maybe even 35 miles a day on my bike. For lack of a better word, it is my daily drive, and I love it. Whether I'm commuting, having fun, just recreational, I use it for everything. I love my bike. And I predict in the next day or two, I'm going to hit 2,000 miles on the thing, and it's less than 2 months old. I love the bike. It's a great bike. And again, I have the Aniioki A8 dual motor Pro Max with a 60 volt, 80 amp hour configuration. Great bike. Now, on to the other topic, which I made this video originally. My original bike by Aniioki was called the Aniioki A9. Okay? Now that bike, people forget, have only been making since last November. Okay? I bought my first bike. It was that first November, Black Friday. It's one of the pre-orders. I got the bike, I got less than 100 miles into it, and it broke down due to faulty motors, faulty controls, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, my bike guy, who was a shop called Acton Cycles and Ski, by the way, in Acton, Massachusetts, great guy, knows his stuff. He got the bike to work 3 different times before we said, okay, we can't get it working anymore. The bike is kaput. It's dead. It doesn't work. Because every time we go to leave the shop, it breaks down. Less than 10 minutes after he got it working again. And we just kept finding problem after problem after problem. So I bought the bike for $3,000, and I dumped another, I don't know, $2-3 grand into it trying to get the damn thing to work. Now, I had to bite the bullet on that bill because Aniioki wouldn't reimburse me until I sent the bike back to them. And I wasn't going to, because the bike caused bodily harm to me. And the thing about e-bike companies from China, they ask you to send the bike for inspection. They don't. Especially when you get hurt, they want the bike back so they can cover their own ass. That's the problem. I was smart enough to know that that's probably not the right thing to do. So I'm like, you know what? You send me the replacement bike, and I'll think about sending it back after I have a new bike in my possession. They're like, well, box it up, and every time I spoke to them, they gave me a different answer. So, long story short, if you're going to get an Aniioki, get it through Amazon. That's step 1. Step 2. Stay away from the A9 for now, because the bike, it's a big bike. Unless you're over 6'6", there's no need. You can buy the Aniioki A8 or even their new V7 that they brought back, which is size-wise in between the both bikes. Now, if you're gonna buy the bike to upgrade, buy the single motor version of Aniioki, okay? Because simply, you can get the single motor version of the bike, of the A8, for example, for less than $1,500. Buy the 48 volts bike, because all the bikes physically are the same. The only difference is the electronics and the controls and the motors. So if you're going to upgrade the bike and you know you just want the bike for the frame, you buy the 48 volt, which you can get for $1,100. And if you buy it through Black Friday, you can get it for less than like $900. So you buy it that way, and then you upgrade to what you want. Electronics, controllers, so on. A buddy of mine bought the Aniioki A8 2025 model, single motor. Okay, which was a 54 volt, 70 amp hour battery. Now, the reason he did that is because he knew he was going to upgrade the motor and the controller, but he was going to keep the base battery. Now, he ended up not keeping the base battery. He actually built his own battery to fit right in that thing. He took their battery apart, used the panel to latch into the bike itself. He upgraded his Aniioki from a 1400 watt motor rear, and he upgraded to a 5000 watt direct drive hub motor. He went up to a far driver controller, which the one he bought actually fit into the frame, so it's still hidden, because they put 2 controls in their bikes. He stuck one big far driver in there. And then he upgraded a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay? His bike maxes out at, I don't know. I saw him do at least 60 on it the other day. Now, the reason I bring this up is because it depends on what people want. People buy, oh, it's a great bike. No, you buy a bike for what you need. If you're going to do commuting, you need something with range. But if you're a big, heavy guy, you can't buy a regular bike with a regular seat. It doesn't work. So, this is my overall review of the Aniioki company. The AQ177 is a good bike. If you want more details, you should check out my favorite YouTuber, Raspy Rides. He did a full in-depth build on that bike. It's a monster. If you want if you're between, let's say, under 200 pounds, go with the AQ177. If you're between, let's say, 200 pounds and 300, you can do the Aniioki A8. Just get the dual motor. Yeah, that's the only time. If you're between, let's say, 250 pounds and 300, you go with the dual motor version of their bike. If you're under 200 pounds, go with the single motor. There's no point. Okay? Now, unless you are over like 6'6" or taller, there's no need to get the A9. But if you do buy the A9 and that's what you want, that's fine. Take it to a bike shop, go through the entire thing and make sure it works properly. And this is my review video. My other recommendation is you should do your own research. Research. I researched for years before I actually pressed buy on my bike. So, thank you for listening to me rant, and have a great day.